Alright mate, how's tricks? Yeah, not too bad mate, just watching the old YouTube. Hey, have you started watching Game of Thrones yet? I lent you that season 1 box set ages ago, mate. You're still on episode 6? Hurry up mate, I want to know what you reckon of Sean Bean dying at the end of episode 9.
Seriously, every time, I don't know...
Alright, calm down mate. God, where was I?
Hello, you've called me...
Way, old Baldy Bonce is back. Your head looks like it's upside down, mate.
Hey, don't judge me on my shiny head. Judge me on the quality of my writing, please. I spend ages carefully, painstakingly episoding each of these moulds, and here you come, ignoring the fine craft and throwing your shallow, unwanted opinions about like confetti at a funeral.
I hate it when people ignore all the hard work and judge you on something so superficial. Anyway, back to Shoot the Cool Gun 4 Remastered. Well, haven't we done the water graphics, have they?
Yeah, guilty. I'm a big old hypocrite. Forget art direction, gameplay, innovation and the soundtrack. I'll judge a game based on whether or not the water realistically reacts to my virtual foot going in it. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
Here are 7 nonsense ways we judge games that prove we're all idiots, really.
So back to what I was saying, entry number 1. Literally the first thing I look for in any game is water physics. Are they realistic? Does me going into the water create a nice ripple? How does the game handle waterfalls or waves on a beach? That's a big one. Most games just plump for a recycled animation that fades in and out on a shoreline, but the games I really respect are the ones that model actual individual waves and have them roll beautifully up the beach. Ooh, GTA 5, yes, do it. Ooh, Shadow of the Colossus, look at you, you old beautiful dog you. And Assassin's Creed 4, look, take me away on your wonderful rolling surf. I am yours.
I mean, obviously, modelling realistic water is probably really, really hard. And it just doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't matter. Unless you're playing Pro Evolution Water Polo, the quality of the water physics is not going to affect your enjoyment of the game.
But it does, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Stop focusing on story, character and complex moral themes, developers. Get your people on the water physics engine because I said so. Next up is a thing everyone does in first-person games, and I've spoken about this before, I think. At the beginning of the game, we always need to have a little glance downwards to see whether or not the developers have bestowed legs upon our faceless avatar, or whether we're just a floating camera with a gun sticking out the middle. Because if there are no legs...
If there are no legs, then, oh, I don't care if you're Skyrim with hundreds of hours of content and an open world the size of the moon. How am I supposed to feel immersed if I look down and see nothing?
You can even combine our first 2 entries when it comes to first-person games and leg it to the first body of water you can find, like a mad high fantasy Olympic sport. Marks, set, bang, look down. 2 birds with 1 stone. Does your character have legs? And if not, is the water reacting realistically to having no legs in it? Well, technically, yes it is, because it's not rippling or anything. That's because there's nothing actually in there.
Do you hear how mad this sounds? Don't worry if your character in first-person games doesn't have legs, okay? Just play the damn game.
Next up is a snap judgment I always make when it comes to football games, although this can apply to any major sports title. So let's just say I'm playing FIFA 17 for the first time. I'm ready to try out the new game, get a feel for its nuances, adjust from last year. It's time for kickoff. Ready? Pause, instant replay, player cam, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. What are the likenesses like this year?
This is the ritual I have to go through with every new iteration of PES and FIFA. Before I've even kicked a ball, I will judge these games based on how accurately they've depicted the nostrils of my favourite Premier League stars.
I'll get right in there too, right into their pores, as if I know what David De Gea's skin looks like 3 inches away from his face. I really would like to know. And anyway, I'll find myself grumbling if the mouth is slightly off or if the side of his head is from 3 haircuts ago.
Can you imagine being EA or Konami and accurately modelling every single hair follicle on these guys, only for them to then dye it purple and shave the word believe into the side or something.
Not to mention the ever-changing tattoos, but anyway, I'm a harsh critic when it comes to sports games player likenesses, to the extent where if I'm controlling Spurs, say, I will actively drop players who don't have a properly sculpted facial likeness. You know the ones I'm talking about, the ones with preset face 12 and hairstyle 9. Ugh, get on the bench. If I score a goal, I don't want to see some vague nobody dancing around on my screen. I want to see Harry Kane. I want perfection. Entry number 4. Does it have photo mode? Nowadays, video games are so pretty I want to be able to share insufferable pics of them online all the time. Canted angles, filters, full-on social media bravado. Here's me on Twitter. Woo! Colours, shallow depth of field. And here's me in real life.
I've become so obsessed with video game photo modes that I've legitimately asked that question to developers during gameplay presentations at E3.
A bunch of journalists and myself will have sat through a presentation that probably took weeks and weeks of planning. The developers are showcasing years of hard graft. They're trying to get their point across in 15 minutes. They pause, ask us professional games media folk if we've got any questions. I raise my entitled hand into the air and say,
does it have a photo mode? I hate myself right now, but I do need a photo mode in everything now.
Pause. Cool filter. Post it on Twitter. Okay, let's play again. Pause. Rotate. Depth of field. Post it on Facebook so my mum can put a shocked emoji underneath. Okay, let's actually play now. Let's sink into the atmosphere of this beautiful game with its groundbreaking audio and pause! Number 5. Does anyone else do this? Spend ages browsing a game's menus and being all like, the UI design in this amazing game could be better, couldn't it? I mean, those 30 seconds I spend getting from the start screen to actually playing the game aren't quite as perfect as they could be. I want my menus to be made of fire and scored by Hans Zimmer. This, however, is just a functional set of things to press X on.
Admittedly, if you're playing something like Disgaea, where the majority of your time will be spent in the menu, then yes, you want them to look nice. But if you're playing PES...
I've had loads of people who, upon professing my love for PES, will respond with, yeah, but the menus look the same as last year. Oh no, not the same as last year, when they just existed and allowed me to navigate from this bit to that bit to the bit where I'm actually kicking a ball around, the game. What are we to do? Also, just a little shout out to Persona 5 in this entry, a game that's obviously heard the judgments about boring UI and so turned its menus into an animated graphic novel that explodes every time you look at a different part of it. Oh yes, show me those stats! Number 6 is something I used to do loads as a kid, and that is, I'd always check to see whether or not dead NPCs would disappear from the game, and there was always a slight tinge of disappointment if they did. If you've watched 7 Ways We Played Games in Ways We Weren't Supposed to, then you'll know I absolutely love killing NPCs. I can't get enough of it. That's why NPCs exist, as far as I'm concerned, to be killed.
And so I want there to be a visual reminder of all my virtual murderizing. In Metal Gear Solid, when you take down a guard, their body flashes for a bit and they turn into a ration, and it just leaves me feeling a bit hollow.
It's something I always look for whenever I start a new game. Do the corpses vanish? The Witcher 3? Yes, they do. Just blood and loot is left behind. Skyrim! In Skyrim, the corpses stay, which I love because it means I get to arrange them nicely and pile them up. If only Skyrim had a photo mode so I could keep a nice gallery of them all. God, Skyrim, why haven't you got a photo mode? And where are my legs? Final entry now, and I'm putting myself out there. I know this is weird, and I really hope there are some other people out there who superficially judge games on this stupid little detail. Here we go. When I start a game, after I've checked to see if I have legs, what the water graphics are like, and whether or not dead bodies disappear, I will go to the first set of stairs I can find and climb up them to see whether or not my character's feet are actually connecting with the stairs.
I know I told you it was weird.
Most of the time I end up disappointed because I imagine making games recognise each individual step as a thing a character can interact with is really bloody difficult, but I always look. Final Fantasy XII? No. We're just sliding up a smooth ramp with stair textures, aren't we? I mean, you look nice, but that is some major stair surfing. The Witcher 3? Again, no. Metal Gear Solid 2, on the other hand...
Metal Gear Solid 2 had a good old go at this, and even though Snake does look slightly absurd with his little it still warms my heart to know that Hideo Kojima wanted stair traversal to be as realistic as possible.
I was overjoyed when I saw this for the first time. I went up and down those steps for a good 20 minutes or so. Oh, heavenly. Excellent boot sound effects too, lovely and wet. 10 out of 10, would climb again, and I did, loads. So there we go, 7 silly ways we judge games that prove we're all idiots really. Have you done any of these? Do you have any other weird methods of judging games we haven't mentioned? Either way, let us know in the comments. Hit the like button because it's been bad and deserves to be hit. Start a list feature binge with one of the links on screen, and please do subscribe for more of these videos every Friday. Thanks for watching.